in the league. We in the league. We in the league. Step to the mic, let's get this right. World Baseball League, ready to ignite. Lapland Mosul, they swinging for the sky. Adelaide right, watch them glide by. Bronson, Turkey strong and proud. Dubai better run, hitting hard, no doubt. London, the Red Coast, they're rocking that style. California surfers rolling with the wild. Honolulu, bringing that heat. In the game, they can't accept defeat.
Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of the show, the 20th anniversary celebration of the World Baseball League. Hard to believe, but the WBL kicked things off all the way back in 2000. And here we are, having just wrapped up the 2019 season. 20 years of chaos, glory, heartbreak, trades that aged terribly, and players who aged even worse. I'm your host, Jeff Blake, longtime GM of the St. Lucia Mermen, proud owners of just one shiny WBL championship banner. And joining me today, as always, is a man who apparently collects championship rings the way most people collect coffee mugs. Dennis, GM of the Havana Sugar Kings. How you doing this morning?
Good, Jeff. Good. Hey, your one was very hard fought, well earned. And in this league, I think we've only had 5 champs, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I'd have to look, but yeah, it's something like that. Especially multiple winners have accounted for a bunch of the championships for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So to start off, we're gonna we've got 5 different all-WBL teams. We've got a defensive, all-time defensive team. We've got an all-time Silver Slugger team, an all-time relief pitcher team, an all-time starting pitcher team, and then we'll cap that off with the all-time WBL team, and then we'll kind of get into the league history. So we'll just get right to the defensive leaders team. You can see my screen here, Dennis?
Yes, sir.
All right, so starting off with our all-time defensive leaders. I don't really have a good way to measure catcher defense. I left that out in pitchers. Who cares? So when I was creating this defensive leaders list, it kind of brought back a lot of memories of players I'd kind of forgotten because sometimes they weren't necessarily great offensive players. But here at first base, I grouped it by career defensive run saves and per 162 games. And under each category, we got the same player. Can you say who that is for us?
So right now we're looking, excuse me, at the first base guys. So number 1 here, we've got Zane Schick.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember actually trying to acquire him at some point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think I could pry him out of California, but
yeah.
Under that, Miguel Mayorga, Victor Oatman, Rick Blaine, and then Mr. Jeff Monroe, who has
do
been
all everything guy.
Hot topic lately.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My Miguel Mayorga was a name I'd kind of forgotten. He played a long time for Longbow, base stealer, I think, too. Not your real prototypical first baseman, but played really good defense. And and Rick Blaine and Jeff Monroe are still going strong. Yeah. So let's move on to, what were we going to say?
Mayorga, real quick. I think Mayorga was on he was on all those bad Longbow teams. That's why I don't remember.
Oh, interesting.
I don't remember him at all. He was just like a defensive guy on a bunch of bad teams.
Right. Yeah. Bill's been good for so long now. I forget that he was bad for, probably the first half of the league history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to second base. In terms of career defensive run saves, we got another Longbow guy, Matt Kelly, and then Dave Maley, who played for me for a bit and has bounced back and forth between Amsterdam and Toronto. And then one of your guys, Austin Fox, in at third. What are your memories of? Oh, he's still playing there, right, Austin Fox?
Yeah, no, yeah, he's I think he's a free agent. Actually, I just saw him on the free agent list, but I'm a little surprised to see him on here. I never really considered him like a defensive whiz. I want to say he may have maxed out at like a 65 second base rating. Yeah. So to be third all time, that's impressive. I wonder if that's a factor of anybody who would be so much better at second base. Guys probably put them at short.
Probably, yeah, definitely so. And he played for he's played for a long time. He started in 2008, so he's had a lot of time to accrue a lot of defensive run saves on a 162 game basis. He's fifth behind Corey Sykes, Kelly Moreno, and McComas.
Sykes being up there, that's pretty impressive. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, Sykes, it's just impressive all around. But
Yeah, he is. Yeah, yeah. We'll see his name a lot in a lot of these lists and in the league history when we get to that a little bit later. So at third base, we've got Kelsey Carell, who's currently a free agent. Another one of your guys, David Madrid, Dirk Banks with Toronto, Ray Kohler with Galapagos, and Justin Prince with Adelaide. So, what do you think of these guys?
yeah, it's an interesting list. On a per 162, we've actually got Koslow down there second. Both of the Madrid was one of those journeyman guys. I want to say he was only with me for a couple of like a few seasons.
Yeah.
Now he's actually in the org as a coach because
Nice.
the primary team for him. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think he was kind of a glove first guy. Koslow being up there is a little bit surprising, especially since he's kind of moved with catcher.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of versatility there for sure. Yeah, I think you had to play 700 games at the position to be eligible for the 162 game rate. So that's what, 4.5 seasons or so. So not too long.
Yep. Jeff, hate to do this in the middle of a pod. I actually have to move my car, so I'm going to be gone for about three
Okay.
minutes.
No problem. We'll pause it.
Right back.
Yep.
All right, I am back. Sorry about that.
Hey, no problem. While you were while you were moving your car, I just made a trade with Joe. So it was a productive, it was a productive break.
Productive commercial break there.
Yeah. All right. So we were talking about third baseman here. Yeah. Did you have anything else to say about these guys?
Kohler's an interesting one because I wouldn't have thought he'd be up there either. He's more of I always paid attention to his offense, and then Prince was another one that I was thinking of trying to make a run at in the last few years before we got bad. So cool to see him up there. But and
Yeah,
then
he's had a long
now,
career.
yeah, and now Sacramento actually is on Havana. He was a throw-in last year when I was unloading a bunch of guys. So
That's right.
yeah, I'm familiar. Got pretty familiar with all these guys.
Right. All right. Let's. This is a position close to my heart because I've got a guy on this list. But yeah, all-time defensive leaders at shortstop. So we've been told Noah Coulter is the greatest shortstop of all time, and based on the career defensive run saves, he might have an argument. After that,
that
go
is
ahead.
interesting that he's up there. I again wouldn't have expected that, but I guess he had 15. Yeah, he had 15 years.
Right.
To accrue those, but still fourth per season per 162. So not bad.
Yeah, we've got a couple Havana guys on the per 162 game rate. Jerry Lamb and Claudio Riscato, both 1-2 in the per 162 game rate. What do you think of those guys?
Another surprise. I'm not surprised to see Riscato up there, obviously, or even Lamb to be on the list, but a little surprised that Lamb is ahead of Riscato.
That surprised me as well.
Yeah, that's but it does go to show like kind of what my strategy was. You can see like very like 2000, 2007, Riscato, 2007 on Lamb until I think he started hitting under 200. But I think when you put obviously this is the defensive list, but you go down the list, there's really one guy who stands out who is like not just the defensive guy. If you're going to pick from this list, I think Sotelo is who you're picking.
Yeah, he's been a keystone to my success for sure. When the few times he's been injured, my win percentage goes down real quick because he's so elite defensively and he's above average offensively. So whatever success I've had, he's been a major part of it for sure. So he's fourth on the career DRS list, and he's got a lot of the guys ahead of him are either retired or not playing much anymore, so he has a chance to definitely move up that list. And then he's fifth all-time on the per 162 games list. So
yeah, what's interesting on that 162 list too is there's really not a whole lot of separation there.
Right.
Like from Riscato to Sotelo, it's pretty close, which I would never have expected.
That's right. Yeah, and I wonder if the metrics have changed a bit over the years. When Riscato was doing his thing, there weren't a lot of elite defensive shortstops. Now there are a bunch. So I wonder if that's kind of watered it down a little bit, made it more easy. I don't quite know, but
Yeah,
it's got to be something like that because Riscato was so far and above everybody defensively at any position. Yeah.
yeah, good list.
All right, here come our left fielders. So we got Ken DeLong at first, Eddie Montez with Sao Paulo, Justin Anderson, Aaron Williams, and Jay Marino. And the 162 game list is pretty similar, just in a different order. But Longbow obviously always emphasizing defense. He's almost always got a guy on these defensive lists.
Yeah, for sure. Although I think in this case, DeLong, his long, no pun intended, his long career is helping him a bit here because
For sure.
he's actually only fifth per 162. And if you look at that list, Marino is actually pretty far and away the leader here, though his career, I think, is among the shortest on this list.
Yeah.
I guess Williams a little bit, but
Yeah, he's got some time to add for sure. Him and Williams. All right, let's get to center field. So on the career list, we got McMillan, another North Korea center fielder who got traded to London. And we got Dan Parker, who we'll talk about a lot later in the podcast. My guy, Steve Fontenot, Greg Martin, one of your longtime players, and Bubba Chapman.
Yeah, this is an interesting list because they're all recent. They're all active guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Which makes me wonder, like, kind of back to your question on the shortstops, is that due to the league's emphasis, always increasing emphasis on defense, seemingly always?
I think it is, yeah. I think for sure. On the per 162 game list, it's a few different players, but still they're all modern active players. Finn Balor has the number 2 all-time 162 rate. Brian Haynes isn't on the career list, but he's number 3rd. Juan Blas is number 4th. So, yeah, I think we have 9 different center fielders between these two lists. So, and they're all active modern players.
Yeah, and it's and not to to beat the horse of Chris Kane, but the fact that Greg Martin actually would have been the Havana center field defensive run leader over Chris Kane, that really makes me think this, like, it's a metrics shifting, league shifting sort of thing.
I think so, for sure.
Yeah, well, Martin obviously, like, he clearly had good defensive numbers. Just, I don't know, eyeball test. Like, defensively, I would not have thought he would be above Chris Kane.
Yeah. All right, now right fielders. We got Eric Hilton, another Longbow guy. Then Jerry Simon, Gumbo, guy I just traded Roberto Iglesias, however you pronounce it, and Arturo Ortiz, who just won a MVP. What do you think of these guys?
The question on this one, does defensive run saved account for arm?
It does not.
Okay, interesting. Okay,
yeah.
So Jeremy Simon is an interesting one up there. A very long career. I think the longest vet on this.
For sure.
But is still up there for the per 162. So Hilton, I think, is pretty clearly the best, and I think if not for Longbow's recent success in the last couple of years and having faced him in the series, I don't know that I would have heard of Eric Hilton.
Right. Yeah, and Iglesias was a guy I always knew was a solid defender, but I had no idea he'd be among the top 5 all-time defensive leaders for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is our defensive list. So let's move on to our all-time Silver Sluggers. So for this, I've got our let's see what I do. Top 8 guys by OPS. No, that's by position. My bad. I've forgotten how I did it. I just don't have the position labels there. But all-time Silver Slugger by position, we got Alex Meeks of Longbow at catcher, Jeff Monroe, again of Longbow, at first base, Gregor Mendel at second base, Kelsey Krell at third base, Connor Caffin at shortstop, Aaron Williams at left field, Joe Nielsen at center field, and Gembo at right field. and
Nice.
I've got him listed by OPS plus. But Jeff Monroe, a 180 OPS plus, 80% better hitter than a league average hitter. So he when I referred to him as the best hitter in WBL history, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, and not just 80% better than league average. Look at him compared to the other players on this list.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Like these are the other best players at their position, and it's not even close.
Right, right. Yeah,
I mean,
I've got
and like both, yeah, both ability to get on base, not like just dwarfs everybody else. I
mhm,
guess Aaron,
418 on base.
yeah, 418. Aaron Williams next closest to 385.
Hmm.
That's insane. And then slugging, like next closest is what Gregor Mendel,
Hmm.
which is who is 41 points
Yeah,
lower. So like that's insane.
yeah. He's playing on a different planet. Yeah, I've got it broken down by position here. So here's our catchers again. Alex Meeks was first, and we've got Tony Hernandez at second, Valentino Costacurta, Hey Young Huang, who's a free agent, and Craig Mannix. So pretty diverse selection of catchers here.
Yeah, and I think both of us familiar with Costa Curta,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Um, he was sort of a weird one because he as good as he is and as valuable as good catchers are, because you can see on this list, even the fifth best guy only had a 105
Hmm.
OPS plus.
Right.
So to have a catcher at 110 career, but Costa Curta got passed around like nobody really
He
wanted
did.
him that
Yeah,
much, which is
yeah.
kind of a weird thing.
You're right. Yeah, he was part of the Dan Parker trade, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about later. Yeah. All right, at first base, no surprise, Jeff Monroe, head and shoulders above everybody else. Although Danny Macias, his OPS isn't too far behind Jeff Monroe. He's probably the only one in league history that can even be in the same ballpark as Monroe.
That's an interesting. Like obviously Macias, he's one of the elite guys.
Hmm.
Um, his OPS plus, and obviously we're doing this by position, but
Hmm.
I would guess just based on that, he's probably second all time,
He is. Yep.
which does surprise me a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, his on base is actually 423, which is 5 points better than Monroe. Then we've got Carl Linnaeus and Tim Sanger, of course, with that massive power that he had, and Ivan Perez, who doesn't get on base much, but he can sure hit a homer.
Yeah, he can. I think I saw he's Ivan Perez was on the 50 plus homer seasons more than anybody else, or is tied, I think.
I think that's right. Yeah. All right. Now at second base, we've got Gregor Mendel, Matt Kelly of Longbow, Rich Phelps of Denver, who's a free agent, Milton McEachern, longtime Merman, and Ricky Stafford with California.
Also, all relatively recent, or at least the top three.
Hmm. Yep.
Uh, yeah, I remember Ricky Stafford, one of the early guys, and then
Yeah.
obviously facing McEachern
Hmm.
times over the years.
Yeah. McEachern was my, I think he was like number 8 overall pick in the 2000 draft, and he got to the majors really quick and was a long time player for mine. I really loved.
How about Mendel with a second baseman who slugs a casual
Right.
570? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and his defense has really gone in the tank the past couple seasons for whatever reason. His ratings look really good, but yeah, his defense is just crazy bad now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you got to leave him at second. Yeah, his ratings aren't bad. I mean, his range is only 55,
Hmm.
but
I guess that's what kills him because we put such an emphasis on range at our infield positions.
yeah. But boy, I mean, I think you gotta leave him there. A guy
Hmm.
who
Yeah, he
hits
makes up for it with the bat.
570 at second base. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now we got third base. We got Kelsey Krell at St. Martin, Dan Rusin, which makes me sad, Eddie James, Ray Kohler, and Tyler Dawson. I see Kelsey Krell is a free agent. I checked in on him, and he's asking for the moon and stars, of course.
Yeah, I looked just out of curiosity.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm not in a position to sign somebody like that for another couple seasons, but I mean, he's he's worth it, right? He's a
Hmm.
premier third base
Yeah,
slugger.
Hall of Famer.
And then another group here that's all recent
Yeah.
guys.
Hmm.
Eddie James, obviously, he's been around quite a while, and
Hmm.
Um, he was Jameis was a first round pick, definitely. I want to.
I believe so. Yeah, yeah. Dan Rusin was a first round pick of mine. There's not a coincidence that I went from a 100 win team to a 85 win team when he signed with Cleveland. I tried my best to re-sign him. He wasn't interested, and he took the big money with Cleveland, and my team immediately dropped off. So it's not a coincidence.
Um, and then just to correct myself, Jameis actually, and this just triggered in my memory just now. He
Mhm.
was one of the early international amateur free agent signings. Brian got him in the first year, year 2000, 5.1 million.
Oh wow.
Uh, one of those early
Yeah.
IFA guys.
All right. Now it's shortstop. We've got Connor Caffin. He played short, second, and third, but he played most of his most games at shortstop. So I've listed him here at shortstop, but he wasn't a great shortstop defensively, but kind of like Mendel, he made up for it with his bat.
Look at this is interesting. Look at the drop off after number 4 with OPS plus. There's
For
like
sure.
four guys
Right.
who could ever hit at short, and after that is
Yep.
just like if you can hold a bat.
Right. Yeah, and Riscato always got a bad rap for his offense, but he walked a lot and hit homers, so it made up for it. Yeah. All right, we got left field. A bunch more modern sluggers. Aaron Williams with Rome, Eddie Montez, and Jose Hernandez with Sao Paulo, Max Blakeway, and Danny Winters.
Yeah, mostly, yeah, all recent guys other than Jose Hernandez, one of the inaugural guys.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I remember Hernandez and Montez as well, but Hernandez on all those really tough Black
Oh yeah,
Mambas. It seemed year after year after year. It's like, when is Jose Hernandez ever
yeah,
going to retire?
yeah. Whenever I do the sim recaps and I post all of the players that are having that are reaching big milestones, there's always like three or four Sao Paulo guys on there because they've been on his team forever and they've been offensive stars forever. So they just rack it up. All right, center fielder. Um, we got Joe Nielsen, Bubba Chapman, Steve Fontenot, Dan Parker, and Greg Martin. And Nielsen's not a great defender for a center fielder, but like some of the other players, he definitely makes it up for it with his bat.
And I don't think he's costing any runs
Right.
in center field.
Hmm.
I certainly have tried to acquire him a couple of times over the
Yeah.
years as an upgrade over Greg Martin, who is fifth on this list. But Kevin, I think rightfully so, had
Hmm.
held on held on to him
Yeah,
tight.
he's definitely tried to build around Nielsen for good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chapman is another one of those Sao Paulo guys who every sim recap he's hitting some milestone. And Steve Fontenot was a second rounder for me. He won Rookie of the Year and MVP his rookie season, the season after getting drafted, and he's just been like Victor Sotelo. He's just been a mainstay, both defensively and offensively. Those two have been a huge, probably the biggest part of my success.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then before obviously we talk about Dan Parker, this is interesting. I just pulled up Joe Nielsen, and I don't know if this will be a permanent move or not, but Kevin actually has him at first base right now.
Oh, interesting. I didn't
So
know that.
looking at his center field rating, it is now dipped below 50.
Ah,
Uh,
that's probably why. Yeah.
45 center fielder. So yeah,
Hmm.
gonna try him out as a corner outfielder or first base. So
Yeah.
makes sense, but hell of a hitter. I'm a little surprised though, back to Dan Parker, that he's this low on the list.
Hmm.
Obviously, he's Dan Parker has got to be the career offensive war leader. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, but obviously, that's a
Hmm.
huge part of that is defense because
Yeah.
I was actually comparing Dan Parker and a guy who will be on the next list, the right field list, Gumbo.
Hmm.
And offensively, they are remarkably similar players.
Right.
It's just Dan Parker has that center field defense.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, so a little surprised to see him only fourth on the center
Hmm.
field list,
Yep.
but then when you put defense in here, he
Right.
blows everything else away.
And the OPS plus doesn't take into account, base running, stolen bases, and what a
Mm.
good base runner he is, and everything which goes into WAR.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, at right, we've got the aforementioned Gumbo, Antonio Cruz, Dan Caldwell, Mike Maha, and Eric Hilton.
Eric Hilton again, didn't we had him on the he was on the defensive
Yeah,
list, but he's actually here on the sluggers too. That's
right.
interesting.
Yeah, and
Gotta
I
put
think
him
it's
on my radar.
sometimes hard to get enough games played at left field or right field because they tend to bounce back and forth and stuff. So sometimes it's hard to meet that threshold. But yeah, I was looking at the all-time scouting finds, and Gumbo is, of course,
Yeah.
far and away the best scout find ever. I don't think there's anyone even close.
Yeah, I mean to have him I think we found him in 2000 2001 early, very early
Hmm.
on. Um, and obviously just how lucky I've been to have him as like the
Hmm.
foundation. And totally sentimental reasons. I'm sure I could have sold him off last season
Right.
to get at least something for him because he's still a productive
Hmm.
player after 35. I think he led the league in steals last year, close to it.
Yeah.
Or is it top five or top three. But how do you let go of that guy?
Right. Yeah. I've got a few players like that too. And then we've got Antonio Cruz. He is that's the same Cruz that was traded for Dan Parker, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, along with Costa Curta and a first round pick.
Yeah.
So the Parker trade. We'll talk about that more later. But he did Minnesota did get some good players back in that trade. All right, so that's it for Silver Sluggers. Now we'll move on to best relief pitchers, and this is it's kind of hard to sort relief pitchers from starting pitchers. Some do both in their career. So I kind of made you had to play a minimum, I think, of 700 games, and and there was a maximum to the number of starts you could make. I think it was like 50 starts. And that kind of gave us our reliever list here. So, and then I kind of sorted it by WAR, and I also kind of sorted some by WPA. But and on these upcoming lists, I included the best under 30 player. So, best under 30 player reliever wise, weren't really a lot of options. So, I went with Jeremy Soka with Rome. He's had a 7.5 R WAR, 184 saves, 7 WPA, but he's been with Rome for 5+ seasons now. Then going up from there, we got going in reverse order. We got Caden Ashraf. He played a lot with Zagreb and a few other teams. Wilson Avaranga. He bounced around a lot. He started with Galapagos and spent most of his time with St. Martin. Bobby Morrow with Toronto. Tom Lawrence with Vancouver. Paul Schwartz. He spent most of his career with Honolulu, but has bounced around. Tyler Converse is a guy I drafted and then traded to Denver for Ryan Eaton. Jesus Melchin, Miguel Cadena, and obviously the best reliever of all time, John Ranson.
And it's funny you say that because there is one Hall of Famer on this list.
Mm-hmm.
If you know who that is Wilson Alvarenga
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
is actually in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I agree with it. Like other than that, in Ranson, obviously I'm familiar with Converse and familiar with Melcone. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Probably. Yeah.
I had Ashraf, but
Mm-hmm.
like I think this just goes to show like the inconsistency of relievers.
Very much so. Yeah.
It's just kind of a crapshoot. Other than a handful of guys, obviously
Mm-hmm.
Ranson
Yep. I have 7 straight relief pitcher of the year awards, but I made that before the awards were posted, so he now has 8.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So, other than a couple of guys, the bullpen seems to be a crapshoot every year.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Most people's bullpens are made up of 2.5-star guys. Yeah, the Ransons and the Schwartzes are pretty few and far between. So yeah, it's slim pickings there for sure. So let's move on to our starting pitcher list. So let's move down to the under 30 list. So these are the best under 30 guys in terms of how much R WAR they've accumulated. So we've got Micah Lincoln with Longbow. He was a amateur IFA, signed for 8 million. He's been with the Longbow for 5 seasons. Mike Hawes, 8+ seasons with Galapagos. Dave Spuller, he was drafted by Zagreb, and he's played 5+ seasons with Lapland. Justin DeLellis, 6 seasons with Rome, and then David Harvey, who's a star starter for Honolulu for the last 8+ seasons.
Yeah,
What are your,
crazy that Harvey is still under 30.
yeah,
He seems like he's been around. Is he 20? Did he came into the league at 20, huh? Yeah, he's got 8+ seasons with Honolulu and he's 28.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Started young, so that's why he's seems like he's been around forever,
Yeah,
and
no
already
kidding.
accumulated 34 WAR. So yeah,
Yeah, just a career ERA of only 274.
hmm
I would be shocked if that Cy Young column doesn't increment a couple more
yeah.
times.
And I did these before the awards, so I can't remember who won the NL or SL Cy Young off the top of my head, but it might have been him. I can't remember.
Uh, it probably should have been. Yeah.
Yeah. And then our all-time starting pitchers here. Starting at the bottom, we've got my guy Mike Sutton, who just retired. He was a seventh-round pick in I think it was 2001, 2002. I drafted him as a reliever. He only had 2 pitches, and then one morning I woke up, logged on, and he had developed a changeup, and all of a sudden he was a 5-star starter.
Beautiful.
So,
That's beautiful.
yeah, so he became he immediately went in my rotation, won Rookie of the Year, and um, he was with me for 18 seasons. Now a coach, so he was a big part of my team for a long time, including my one World Series win. I got John Parks with Longbow. He's only 30. He got traded to Dubai this past season. He'll be way up this list real quick. Dusty Nelson, he's 35. He spent is he retired? Not quite yet, but he spent 14 seasons with Sao Paulo. Josh Harrington, he was the first ever WBL player. He was the first overall pick in the inaugural draft. He spent 20 years with North Korea, still going strong. Lyota Machida, uh, let's see. He was a pro IFA. Signed a big 7-year, $223 million deal with Amsterdam. And he got traded to Rome, and he got traded to Sao Paulo. But he's been around forever, 42,
Yeah.
still going strong. Yeah.
Yeah, Machida was that was one of those the biggest early contracts, I
hmm
think, kind of made some waves that Mr. Frank signed that big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yep. And then we got Trevor Grimes. He was traded as a minor leaguer to Lubbock 5 months after being drafted. Lubbock, of course, became Denver, and he spent all 15 big league seasons in Denver. And we got Matt Oberhausen. He was spent 8 years in Cleveland. He was one of their first draft picks, I think. He got traded to Denver, then traded to Toronto, then traded to California. Then he signed as a free agent with North Korea. So he's been around, but has been consistently good. He's 40 years old. He retired. Can't remember when his last season was.
Future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, for sure. And then we've got who I would argue. We've got three pitchers above him in terms of our WAR, but I would argue is the best pitcher in WBL history, and that's Dave Allbider. He retired at the age of 33 to go do mission work. He had a 5-WAR season at age 33, but retired with 5 championships. So, I have no doubt he would be at the top of this list. If he,
Just 6 Cy Youngs after retiring at 33
yeah.
is crazy. He arguably could have hit double digit Cy
Oh
Young.
yeah, for sure, for sure. That what a big momentous retirement that really shook up the league. Yeah. Now we got above him, just barely in WAR, Dave Martinez, who just won his second Cy Young, 11 years after his first Cy Young. So he's 35. He's spent all 15 years with Adelaide. I've tried to get Dave Martinez from Brenton so many times, and
Sam. He's one of those guys. He just seems to just a consistent 200 plus innings every year. Just not always a sparkling ERA. You see his career ERA is above 350, but
yeah,
just a consistent 380, 370, 360,
yeah.
200 innings, and just a solid guy.
hmm Yeah, and the let's see, the one, two, three, four, the top five guys on the all-time R War list, other than the guy we're going to talk to next, they were top draft picks. They were all picked in the top five. Oberhausen was the number two overall pick. Allbiter was the number one overall pick. Martinez was the number five overall pick, and our number one pitcher was the number one overall pick. But our second guy in terms of R War is Dong Jin Kim. Similar to Machida, he signed a huge controversial pro IFA contract with Toronto, 7 years, 200 million. He won the Cy Young and Rookie of the Year in his rookie season. Had four championships with Toronto. Similar to Allbiter, helped Toronto power through five championships.
And yeah, that contract, if you remember, was very controversial and one of
Hmm.
the like, I think maybe guys who hadn't played with Jacob before were thinking, what the hell is this guy doing?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
not going to be able to sign anybody else.
Yeah.
And of course, Jacob's like, just hold my beer, I got this.
Right.
And, well, not beer. I think he was probably 17 at the time, so
Right.
not beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, I've got this, and then won four championships with him. So
That's right. Yeah.
worth every penny.
For sure, it definitely worked out. Yeah, and then the all-time leader in R War is a guy who's still pitching. He was the number one overall pick in 2002. He's won a couple Cy Youngs, five All-Star games. Jimmy Shore. He's got 90.8 career R War. Definite first ballot unanimous Hall of Famer. Whenever he does retire.
How
Yeah.
and why has he only been on five All-Star teams?
Yeah, because the All-Star game thing is stupid.
Yeah, that is a travesty. How
It
he's
is.
on five All-Star games.
I know.
All
I
teams.
know. Yep. He got traded to Honolulu in 2009 from Longbow for Corey Wright, who's been a long time Longbow player, and then he Jackson traded him back to Longbow in 2011, which is Jackson mentioned yesterday was one of his regrets was trading away Shore.
Yeah, just looking at Shore here. Also, a Rookie of the Year award in 03,
That's right. Yeah.
won a Gold Glove in 07. So just all around player athlete.
Yeah. I hear he's a good cook too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to talk about our all WBL team. These are the top two players at each position in the history of the WBL, taking into account offense, defense, and all that good stuff for war. So we'll start out at catcher. Our under 30 best player at catcher all time is Nelson Martinez. He's 28. I think he's on a Hall of Fame track. He's only played, even though he's only played 7 seasons, but he's already won an MVP, a bunch of All-Star games, 38 WAR with St. Martin. What are your thoughts on Nelson?
Yeah, fantastic player. I've obviously asked if I could please have him, and the answer is a resounding no.
Right.
And for good reason. Easy Hall of Fame track.
Mhm.
I think honestly, like probably give him another 2 or 3 seasons, and he could retire and make it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially we were talking early about the dearth of really good catchers, especially offensively. Yeah. Then in terms of the all WBL team, any age, we've got at number two, we've got Craig Mannix. He was a longtime Toronto catcher, four championships with Toronto, played with them for 10 years and had 45 WAR with Toronto. He signed as a free agent with Cleveland, had some good years there, and then got traded to Galapagos and played there for a season. But got any memories of Mannix?
Yeah, these are I think have primarily been NL guys
Hmm.
that um that have stayed over there. Obviously, Mannix being did he really win 9 MVPs? Is that number right?
No, that's not right.
That
That's definitely a typo. I don't know what that was supposed to be.
can't be right. I'm gonna say I know he's good, but 9 MVPs.
Right. Let's look that up real quick.
But obviously, the one of the premier catchers in the league over there. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that's if it says anything that the NL has had generally better catching.
Mhm.
in the SL, but
Yeah, yeah. And our number one catcher of all time, Alex Meeks, with longbow, right? Yeah,
yeah,
longbow.
yeah,
Yeah,
same,
yeah,
same, same, yeah, same thing.
yeah.
Over the
Yep,
NL, just duking it out. So
yep. Kind of similar to Shore. He Longbow traded him away, and then he was traded back to Longbow. He played. Longbow traded him to Cleveland in 2010, where he spent 4 years and had 16 WAR, and then traded back to Longbow. He played 14 years total there for 63 WAR and counting. So, yeah, another. Both I would think both of those would be future Hall of Famers.
no, for sure. And Meeks is still under contract for another 3 seasons.
Is he really? Wow.
Yeah,
And at
so I
38,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, of course, he may retire, but he put up a 3.7 WAR season last year. So,
Wow.
he's still cooking.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Next up, we got first base. Our under 30 player is also on our all-time list. Jeff Monroe. He's somehow only 29. Has already accumulated 61 WAR. WBL's best ever hitter, 184 OPS. He got traded in a crazy trade to Toronto this season, but Longbow still went on to win the championship.
Yeah, yeah, amazingly somehow. But yeah, obviously, just far and away the best first baseman under 30, and
Hmm.
give him another couple seasons, and he'll be at the top of the other list for
Right.
all time first baseman, who currently is Danny Macias,
Hmm.
uh, number one. And it's crazy that Macias and Monroe, like early on in the league, if you'd said that Tim Sanger it would get surpassed so
Hmm.
quickly and easily by a couple of guys,
Yeah.
I thought you were crazy. But
Right.
um, yeah, between Macias and Monroe, Sanger Hall of Famer, obviously, but
Hmm.
Macias and Monroe will be shortly as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Sanger was the third overall pick in the inaugural draft. Raised a lot of eyebrows picking a first baseman that high, including myself. But Shane proved that he knew what he was doing. He went on to hit 534 home runs, was the all-time home run leader for a long time, and put up 52 WAR. And then once he left Tokyo, he wasn't really the same. He played for 4 years with Toronto, and wasn't very good there. But he was the home run leader for eight straight seasons. I don't think anyone will ever do that again. That's a tough record to beat.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. If you look at the sluggers we've got now, they seem to have a little bit of a peak, whereas
Hmm.
Sanger just like plateaued, but a high plateau, just
Right,
consistent season after season after season.
for sure.
Uh, and then the back to the number one guy here, Macias, is another one who is still cranking out.
Yeah.
He's a free agent, yeah, or no,
Uh,
he'll after this year.
okay, gotcha. Yeah,
He,
he was one of those early amateur IFAs. Jeff with Sao Paulo signed him for $15 million, which is one of the highest IFA signings ever. But definitely worth it.
yeah, in a contract year this year, hit 350 last year.
Oh yeah,
Casual 350 at
at
age 30,
35. Yeah,
like you do.
right,
But yeah, just obviously amazing hitter. I think my scout loves him just as much now as he did 10 years ago.
right.
So
All right, at second base, under 30 players, slim pickings here. My second baseman, Mike Warner, has the highest WAR of primary second baseman under 30. He's had 17 WAR. He's known defensively. He was a ninth rounder, and his defense and offense kept improving as he worked his way up through the minors. But yeah, paired with Victor Sotelo, I have a really good middle infield defense, which helps out my pitchers.
yeah, that's a nice find in the ninth round there.
Yeah, for sure. Second best all-time second baseman, Matt Kelly, 10 plus seasons with Longbow, 62.1 WAR. Always good defensive players, especially middle infield for Longbow, but he also is a good offensive player as well.
Yeah, yeah. Probably the best NL second baseman,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
Interested. I'd be interested to see where Mendel's got to be pretty close underneath Matt Kelly there.
Hmm. Yep.
But neither of those guys is going to come close to Sykes. Sykes
Right.
is another world.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Sykes a little bit more later, but he was traded as a minor leaguer from North Korea to Honolulu, 700 plus games at second base, 500 plus games at third base, 150 games at catcher, just can play anywhere. We stuck him at second base because that's where he's played the most games, but another first ballot Hall of Famer at 32, still has several more productive seasons ahead of him, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, moving on to third base. Our under 30 player is a free agent, Jason Williams. He was Honolulu drafted him, and he was traded to London in 2017. But he's got a 25 WAR so far at the age of 27.
Interesting. I'm honestly not very familiar with this guy
Hmm.
because he's been on London for a while. So,
Hmm.
but
Yep,
good
under
on
the
base.
radar.
Yeah, on base guy. He led the league in walks last year and in 2017.
Hmm.
Pretty solid 4 to 5 WAR guy.
Yeah,
Uh,
can play
it-
multiple positions.
yeah, can play second, third, short. Interesting is his ratings are kind of ho-hum, except his eye just pops 80.
Hmm.
So there's the walks. But
Yeah.
interesting guy. I'd be interested to see what he gets in free agency
Hmm.
because I believe he is a restricted free agent. He's a
He
comp.
is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, and our second base, third baseman of all time is Eddie James with North Korea. He was a $5 million amateur free agent, and he's played all 14 plus seasons with North Korea
Yeah, just synonymous with North Korea.
for sure. Yeah, yep. Offensive player, solid defense. Yeah. And then our best third baseman all time is also a comp eligible free agent, Kelsey Correll.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, a little sad to see him leave San Martin actually, but
Hmm.
be interested to see what he gets in free agency. Obviously on the back end of his career, but it's
Hmm.
been a hell of a career.
Yeah, he's still hitting well. That's so. Yeah, even at 33, he's still hitting. All right, shortstop. Under 30, we've got Henry Scrimshander. He was originally with Galapagos. He was traded as a minor leaguer to Adelaide in 2014 in the Corey Little trade. He's played 5 seasons with Adelaide.
Yeah, I've tried to get him a couple of times, but you get a shortstop that young who can hit and you hold on to him
Yeah, for sure.
like
Yeah, they're
Adelaide has done.
yeah they're hard to find if you can play defense at shortstop and hit. Then our second best shortstop of all time was Connor Caffin. He played primary with California, was a second overall pick in the inaugural draft. I remember when we were preparing for the inaugural draft, everyone assumed he would be the first overall pick. I think Brian went with Harrington overall
Yep. Yep.
and instead, but who's had a great career too. But yeah, Connor Caffin was a no doubt top 2 or 3 pick in the inaugural draft, and he went on to have 48 WAR with California before getting traded to Sao Paulo in 2008, where he went on to do 14 WAR with them. 1,100 games at shortstop, and then 400 plus games at both third base and second base. So versatile player whose calling card was home runs. He had 364 home runs.
Yeah, probably a Hall of Famer. Spent a year in Havana.
Oh, that's
Uh,
right. Yeah,
so
very tail end of his career.
yeah, we yeah, I had a good time with him there.
Hmm. Yep. And then our number one overall shortstop is my guy, Victor Sotelo, 66.5 WAR, just 33, still going strong, knock on wood. He's won an MVP, 10 All-Star games. He was a $10 million IFA. He's spent all 13 plus seasons with me. He's not nearly the hitter that Sotelo is, but he makes up with it with Gold Glove caliber defense.
Yeah, what do you think? Is he your favorite WBL player of all time?
Yeah, probably him and Doback are tied. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Got, chicks dig the long bow.
Yeah.
All right, in the outfield, I lumped all our outfielders together because we had people playing multiple positions in the outfield. But our under 30 players, guy I just traded, we mentioned him earlier, Roberto Iglesias. He was with me for 8 seasons, and I traded him to California. He's an elite stolen base guy and base runner, 33.9 WAR. And then we got Brian Haynes with Longbow, a defensive specialist. He's a league average hitter, but brings it with the glove. And Janice Van Newman, he's a two-way player, about 18 WAR as a batter, about 15 WAR as a pitcher. What are your thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, I wish I had a couple of them.
Yeah.
Those are solid guys. And Von Neumann, obviously, seeing him a lot, both on the mound and in the outfield.
Mhm.
Not mad that I'm rebuilding right now, having to face those guys, and then going up even to the not under 30 guys. Those guys are all mostly under 35, so they're still cranking out.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. There's most of them. Are any of these guys retired? I don't think so.
No, Gumbo's the oldest on this list, which makes me a little sad, but yeah, they're it's a relatively young list.
Right. Sorry, I gotta respond to a text from the wife.
Yeah, no, I'll read off this list. So with the outfield here, we've got a total of six. So coming in at number six, Bubba Chapman,
Mhm.
one of those Black Mambas that has just been a mainstay with them over the
Yeah,
years.
thorn in my side over the years.
Yeah. Then we've talked about Joe Nielsen,
Mhm.
it's a guy that Kevin has rightfully built around or tried to build around. And then your guy again, Steve Fontenot, just an absolute killer out there in center field. Eddie Montez, we've talked a lot about him as well. Another one of those Black Mambas, just season after season, 14 plus seasons with
Mhm.
Sao Paulo. Gumbo, we've talked about quite a bit, three-time champion. He will retire a Sugar King for better or worse. And then obviously we've got Playboy Dan Parker.
Yeah. Yep. And we can talk about him now. He's undoubtedly the greatest position player of all time in WBL history, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah. When you take into account defense at such a uh, premium position, um, yeah, he's got to be. He's not quite, the Willie Mays of the WBL because he doesn't have the power. If you look at him compared to the other outfielders on this list, power wise, he's
Mhm.
actually relatively underpowered. His OPS isn't sparkling, but when you pair that type of offense, which is still top tier with the defense, which is out of this world. It's interesting because you don't really have a good comparison to Dan Parker. He's not a Mike Trout. He's not
Right.
a Willie Mays. He's not an Andrew Jones.
Mhm.
But I think he probably is WBL's best all time player.
Yeah. And the Minnesota Psycho Moose drafted him first overall in the 2003 draft, and then they immediately traded him within. It might have been while the draft was still going on, if I remember correctly, but they got Antonio Cruz, catcher Valentino Costa, a first round pick, and a couple other guys that didn't really amount to anything. But Costa went on to a successful career, as we talked about, 35 WAR. Antonio Cruz, who comes up in another big trade later on, 42.7 WAR, and they got a first rounder. So, Dan Parker was the greatest player of all time. Minnesota didn't, get totally. I'm sure they are wishing they hadn't made that trade a couple seasons later. But yeah, it wasn't a terrible trade by any means. But Parker definitely was the best outcome for either team.
Oh, yeah, far and away. I it's tough with hindsight, obviously, but you look at that trade and Parker, I think was 18, 19, something like that.
Yeah, he was young. Yeah, when he made his debut, he was 19, I think.
Yeah, so like obviously in hindsight it turns out to be the best player of all time, but like there was some risk involved there
Hmm.
to give up that much for an 18-year-old. Obviously Jacob knew what the hell he was doing
Right.
and uh, did he? I mean, did he spend any time in the minors?
Brief time. Let's see. Let's look him up. I remember. I remember when he got called up, everyone was like,
I've
"What?"
got it. Yeah, '03. In '03, he spent 23 games in the minors. So in 2003, as an 18-year-old, he
Yeah,
jumped from high school to the big leagues in the same season after about 23 games.
18. That's
Uh,
crazy. And he
in
led
the
the league in triples in just 120 games at the age of 18.
After graduating from high school in the same year.
Yeah,
You walk across your stage to get your diploma and then lead the league in triples.
right. Then he went on to lead the league in triples. Let's say 7 out of the next 8 seasons. It's crazy, and he's still. He only had a 2 WAR season this past season. He dealt with injuries, only played about half the season. So he's 34 now. We'll see if his age and injuries finally catching up to him. But I'm sure he'll retire a Husky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pending free agent after the season. We'll see what Jacob does with that. That'll be fascinating.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what his demand is actually. If
Hmm.
he demands as if he's still a 28-year-old stud, or if he's realizing he's going to coast into retirement in Toronto.
Right, right. I would imagine that Jacob would try to extend him just for sentimentality, but he's been known to make some cold-blooded decisions just for the
Yeah, I don't
betterment
know.
of his team.
I don't. Jacob doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. I think
I know, yeah.
he unloaded dong pretty ruthlessly.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, well, let's talk about some other big moments in history. We've got 2006, one of the more amusing moments. Denver starting pitcher Vinny Sandoval walks into his clubhouse and announces he's retiring to donate a kidney to his sister. Um, Denver GM Joe was absolutely devastated. He tried to build his entire rotation around Sandoval, and suddenly Vinny's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go save a life. Best of luck this weekend against Vancouver." Um,
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you just can't. With obviously, we all love Joe. All
mm,
due respect to Joe,
yep,
you couldn't have scripted that to have happened to a better GM just for
right.
the hilarity.
For the reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
had that happened to Brian, like, oh, that would have been unfortunate, but like,
Hmm.
it wouldn't have been hilarious. But Joe makes it hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah,
Still brings it up. That was 15 seasons ago, 14 seasons ago. Yeah, he still flinches anytime anyone says the word organ, like someone just lit a firecracker behind his head.
oh, that's great. It's great, and one of the great storylines, and totally unnecessary too for
Yeah,
OT to do that.
I know.
But
Yeah, they
it's
just
hilarious.
drop these crazy storylines out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there was in 2009, Jackson had just joined the league, taking over a franchise, and he DM'd me and said, "Hey, I've got this trade proposal. I'm new. I'm not sure, what the value of trades are yet in this league. Um, North Korea is offering me a guy named Corey Sykes for Antonio Cruz. Do you think I should do it?" I said, "No, Antonio Cruz is who you would hope Sykes turns out to be. You already have Antonio Cruz, so why would you do that? You don't know that Sykes is going to become as good as Antonio Cruz." And thankfully, Jackson didn't listen to me. He's turned out to be one of the greatest players in WBL history. Future Hall of Famer. So glad he didn't listen to me.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear Brian's perspective on that trade.
Right.
Uh, if that's one he would like to have back.
Right. He actually DM'd me going, "Why are you trying to block this trade?" And I said, "I'm not trying to block the trade. I just, gave him some advice. Clearly, he didn't. He's not interested in taking it, and that's fine."
Uh,
And now I'm sure North Korea was like, I'm sure Brian's like, I wish you had made him not do the deal.
yeah, and it's one of those what if scenarios. Like, imagine North Korea with Sykes,
Hmm.
and with with all due respect to that division, it's been one of the weaker divisions, but North Korea has been one of the mainstays there. You throw Sykes
Oh
on
yeah,
those teams, and yeah, then they're just dominant there.
right. He has more than one championship, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then in 2007, we had Frank with Amsterdam in the 2007 WNLCS. He was up 3 games to nothing on Toronto. Just needed one more win, and he would have made the World Series. Uh, Jacob with Toronto, they won the next 4 straight. They win the NLCS, go into the World Series, win the World Series. That was their second consecutive World Series championship. They'd go on to win 4 in a row, including that one. It kind of launched them into a dynasty. What would have happened in the WBL had Frank won one more game? Maybe the trajectory of his franchise is completely altered. Same with Toronto.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that, and it makes you wonder. And I think Frank had mentioned, he that kind of switched his strategy up a little bit and thought he needed to try to press to get over that hump. And if Jacob had lost, would he have felt the need to do something different? And I was trying to think, obviously, with MLB comparisons, we've got the Red Sox having been down 0-3, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not as if the Red Sox went on to become what Toronto did.
Yeah.
It's just such a shift. Obviously, you can't predict. Maybe the same thing would have happened those years after, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just such a pivotal shift.
It really was. Yeah. Then we've got the 2011 Zagreb GM Michael signs a picture CJ label to what he thinks is a normal deal, except the contract includes an illegal vesting option. The league office said, nope, that's not allowed, removes the vesting option and converts it into guaranteed years instead. And suddenly he went from moderately affordable CJ label to, destroying Zagreb's payroll, according to the Zagreb GM Michael. He was furious. He quits the franchise in protest. And within 24 hours, we get Spin, the new Zagreb GM, the fastest GM replacement in WBL history. He turns Zagreb into Lapland, and bam, the league had changed overnight.
Yeah, and another one of those. It was just kind of a hilarious situation because I, I think I think it was probably more an accumulation of things than this one incident. I think that GM had just been struggling because
Mm-hmm.
back at the contract, like, yeah, it wasn't a great contract, but like you offered it to him, and if it was so bad that one the vesting part made it a permanent fixture, if that's what made that deal so bad, why did you offer it in the first place?
Exactly. Exactly.
um, enough that it made you want to quit the league. I think it was probably more just kind of the straw breaking the camel's back, so to speak.
I think you're right. Yeah. Yep. Any other memorable storylines you remember from over the years?
Um, Boy, I mean, I just obviously the creation of the league, all of us coming out of the PBA,
Mm-hmm.
um, and coming together to create this, I think was a pretty cool moment because a lot of if you try to explain the drama from PBA to WBL to anybody who doesn't know OTP, they're like, what is
Right.
this?
Right.
Grown men, what is happening?
Yes.
But I remember, like, it truly was kind of a stressful time
It was very stressful. Yeah.
going through all of that, and to be able to go from that to what we've had in the WBL for the last 20 seasons, I think is pretty remarkable. And just I remember vividly sitting in the airport during the inaugural draft, and thinking, boy, I hope that shortstop falls to me. And
Riscato. Yeah.
yeah, and the rest is history.
Yeah. I remember when you took Riscato, I was like, he's taking a shortstop with 40 contact in the first round. What is he doing? Just like with Jacob, you obviously knew what you're doing, and just like with Sanger with Shane, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, and how about you? I think when we first started this league, I don't know that you anticipated having such a big role in the league. You've kind of obviously now
No.
become the de facto commish. Whereas I think when we started this, we were thinking it might be a little bit more by committee. But you've really
Mhm.
stepped up and shouldered 99.9% of the burden.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I went into it not knowing anything about the back end of OOTP, and I've definitely had to learn along the way. A lot of people helping me out, Bill, and a bunch of other GMs helping me out with all the back end stuff. And, I enjoy being organized and communicating and stuff like that. So I'm good at that part. The technical stuff, maybe not so much, but yeah. Well, you were the first champion of the WBL in 2000. What do you remember from that season?
Boy, it's been a long time, but yeah, those early guys,
Mark F. and Swan, World Series
Mark
MVP.
Mark F. and Swan, Riscato, obviously, I think like Adonis Forrest
Hmm.
was one of the pitchers
Oh
there.
yeah, haven't heard that
Um,
name in a while.
yeah, it was crazy. And that was that run of I think four straight that Shane that Tokyo had in the World Series. It was
Hmm.
the first of those, and just I mean, obviously tickled to be in the first World Series and then to win it was super cool experience. And
Hmm.
uh, I've still got my early trophies that we sent out for the I don't know how many you did that for the first 10
Yeah,
8
something
or
like that. Yeah.
that, and I've still got those lined up and definitely some of my coolest possessions, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have a trophy case, but those would definitely go in there.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We can go real quickly over each of the 20 seasons. Like you mentioned, Tokyo, they were the NL champs. They were in the World Series 6 of the first 7 seasons of the
Crazy.
WBL. Sanger was a big part of that, of course. He won 4 MVPs over that time period, back to back to back to back from 2002 to 2005. So that was impressive.
And just never over the hump.
Yeah.
Never got that title.
Hmm.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
I wonder, like, I guess I don't remember that that range of teams that well, other than Sanger. Obviously, he's the one that stands out, but
Hmm.
it's another one of those what ifs. Like, what did Shane just need one more arm,
Yeah.
or what was it? Because to be in the World Series 6 out of 7 years is pretty crazy.
It is. Yeah. It means you have a really good team, and he really wasn't close in any of the World Series. He lost 4-1 to you, 4-1 to Sao Paulo, um, 4-2 to Galapagos, and then Toronto was in there, and then 4-1 to Sao Paulo again, and then 4-1 again to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, he would make it to the World Series and then just kind of fall on his face, unfortunately. But yeah, those first winners after you with Sao Paulo, Mike Maha was the World Series MVP. 2002, it was Galapagos out of nowhere. Greg Bradford won the MVP, World Series MVP. Havana, Billy LeClaire,
Yeah,
Poopy
poopy
Pants,
pants
yeah,
Leclaire. Yep.
yeah. And then 2004 was Sao Paulo again. Jason Gutfreund, who I don't remember, won
I
World
don't.
Series MVP. David Madrid for you in 2005. What do you remember about that?
Yeah, again, David Madrid, just a journeyman guy, but I think that was yeah, that was our third of like the early years where we kind of just rebuilt and crashed after this. I think we tried
Hmm.
to hold on for another couple of years, but this was the aging group from that inaugural draft that I
Hmm.
drafted an older veteran group and I squeezed out one more championship out of them this year. And then
Yeah,
I after this we turned it over to Jacob and he just took off.
yeah. Yeah, from 2006 to 2009, that was the stretch where Toronto won 4 straight championships. We had Matt Wellendorf, Craig Manick, Stan Parker, and Dongjin Kim each win World Series MVPs. Just a unmatched reign of success that we haven't seen since.
Yeah, and that was one of those was your first appearance in the World Series as well. Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, yep. I remember being heartbroken but not surprised.
That was a juggernaut. Yeah, that team won 109 games, that Toronto team.
That's right. Yep. That was the year that Joe Nielsen won Rookie of the Year. Steve Fontenot won MVP and Rookie of the Year, so he was a big part of me reaching that World Series. 2010, we've got Sao Paulo winning their third championship. Jose Hernandez uh, was the World Series MVP, and that was over Toronto. So that was Toronto's fifth straight trip to the World Series, and they lost. They won the first four and lost the fifth one. Then we had 11. We had St. Martin. They kind of came out of nowhere that year, I remember. You had 104 wins that season. Ivan Perez was the World Series MVP, the big slugger.
Yeah, that was I think that was this year, and then yeah, so this 2010, 2011, 2012, well, and then the years after as well, were those stretches where the best team would get kicked out in like the
Hmm.
first round of the playoffs. And
Yeah,
I started thinking like, damn, maybe you don't want to have the best
right.
record. It seems like that team is always losing in the first round.
Yeah, yep. 2012 was what my one World Series championship. Victor Sotelo was the World Series MVP. Yeah, again, you won 111 games that season and didn't make it to the World Series.
Yeah,
And
but that was, yeah, your first championship and second trip, or
yep,
third, yeah, second trip.
second, yeah. The only two times I've been, yep.
Nice.
Yep, and then you won the next season, 2013. Longbow had the most wins, 115, but you beat North Korea. Gumbo was the World Series MVP.
Yeah, I remember, again, another one of those longbow that may be one of the top three teams of all time, 115 wins, and I think
Hmm.
an early playoff exit.
Yeah, John Parks won the Cy Young. Jeff Monroe won the MVP.
Yep, and then Gumbo just kind of thumped North Korea over 16, and
Yep,
they took it home.
yep. Then North Korea bounced back the next season, 2014, to win the World Series over Longbow. Uh, uh, yeah, was that no?
No,
They
Honolulu. That was the
yeah,
Honolulu year.
that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they're in the same league. Yeah, yeah. Eddie James was the World Series MVP. That was David Harvey won the Cy Young that year. Uh, Macias won the MVP again. Yeah,
and
Arturo Ortiz. Hmm.
that was the year Honolulu was an out away. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And then 2015, I had the most wins. Didn't make the World Series. Longbow. That was Longbow's first championship. They defeated Honolulu again. Honolulu made the World Series back to back. Didn't win either time. Matt Kelly was the World Series MVP. And then 2016, we had Jacob Toronto winning another World Series. Their first one since their four win stretch. Bill Johnson was the World Series MVP. John Parks and Jeff Monroe won Cy Young and MVP again. So Longbow was disappointed that they didn't make the World Series again.
Yeah, and that being Toronto's fifth, and then the next year I had to make sure that I tied Jacob again with our fifth in 2017, beating Longbow
Hmm.
in 2017 to take our fifth. So Toronto and Havana both with five there, but another year that the team with the most wins did not win
Yeah,
the.
Jeff Monroe won the MVP that season. That he was in the midst of a 5 out of 6 seasons of winning the MVP. So just a dominant stretch.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Nick Irwin, former Merman, won World Series MVP.
Who, boy, yeah, that's one of those random ones where
Right,
you'd ask
someone just
like
got
trivia
hot at the right
question,
time.
yeah. Who won the 2017 World Series MVP,
Yeah,
and nobody's gonna know.
yeah, could not have told you. Yeah. 2018, we had our first expansion team not only reach the World Series, but win the World Series in Dubai. Um, they had Tristan Trawick win the World Series MVP. Longbow, again, had the most wins in the league with 109, but they were able to top them. They
Yes.
played Toronto in the World Series, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, super cool to have. Yeah, Jacob, another appearance in the
Hmm.
World Series, but this one I think pretty much everybody rooting for the expansion
Yeah,
team.
the underdog for sure.
Yeah, pretty cool to see Dubai get a championship there,
Hmm.
and wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, he's in a tough division, but wouldn't be surprised if that's Dubai's the first of many.
Yeah. And then this most recent season, we had a Longbow. They had the most wins in the league with 100, and they defeated California 4-1. That was California's first trip to the World Series. I was happy for Jeff with California. He's always trying to make moves, and it finally paid off. He had a good run, and that was Longbow's second World Series championship. Eric Hilton, who we were talking about earlier, won the World Series MVP. Dave Martinez won the Cy Young, like we said earlier, for the first time in 11 seasons. He won his first one 11 years earlier. Yeah. So wrapping it up, what are your thoughts on the first 20 seasons of the World Baseball League?
Yeah, it's been huge. I do want to make one correction now that I'm seeing it here, because I know Joe's going to call us out on it. Harvey did not win the Cy Young this year. He was second. It's his second year.
That's right. Yep.
He placed second. It was
Van Vliet
from Denver. So congrats to him. But yeah, I mean, 20 seasons. It's just been a lot of fun. There's been a little bit of drama, but mostly the good kind. Nothing quite like the PBA that we were born out of. It's just been really consistent. We've had that same core for all 20 seasons, and it's just been a lot of fun and good consistency. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can't imagine a better group of GMs. You know, we, like you said, we started out with the core 12 GMs from the PBA, and we've added to it over the years, and the stability in this league have been really good. No one has quit because they were bored or they didn't like the league. If someone quit, it was a couple in the early, 3 or 4 in the early seasons where they just didn't have the time commitment, and then more recently it's been because of various reasons, but not because they didn't enjoy the league. But we've had so little turnover, especially the past 15 seasons, that it really makes it an enjoyable place to be. You can rely on people to export and be competitive, return your DMs for trade offers and so forth. So that makes the league really enjoyable.
Yeah, and we've navigated a couple of expansions, which a lot of times can mess up the stats in a league or just like the vibe of a league. And I think we had like a pretty cool transition with Scott being a co-GM, sliding into a slot in Rome when we expanded. And
yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and all of those new GMs have I mean, they're not new anymore.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've had the same crew now for a long time, and
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me and talking about the first 20 years, and we'll do it again when we hit the 40-year mark.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blast. Thanks for having me. And yeah, this is good. I love just the history of baseball and the fact that you can go back and nerd out over all these fictional numbers. It's just awesome.
For sure. I agree. Yep. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Step to the mic, let's get this right. World Baseball League, ready to ignite. Lapland Mosul, they swinging for the sky. Adelaide right, watch them glide by. Rome 10, Turkey strong and proud. Dubai better run, hitting hard, no doubt. London, the Red Coast, they're rocking that style. California surfers rolling with the wow. Honolulu, bringing that heat. In the game, they can't accept defeat.